Hello YouTube. Today I'd like to talk about adjusting the truss rod on certain vintage Teles and Strats that have the truss rod buried at the end of the neck and there's no access to it under tension with the neck on the body. This is actually a modern reproduction of a vintage Tele, and there's no way to get at the truss rod even if you take the pick guard off. Sometimes I can get in with a bent screwdriver like this, which has a little hook on the end that you can sneak in and adjust the truss rod, but there's absolutely no room on this. First, what you need to do is make sure the action's close to where you want it to be when you're done setting up the guitar, and measure the relief. And if you don't know how to measure the relief, there's a couple of methods. I like to use a digital gauge, but you can use whatever method you like. We got 11th thou on the low E at the 5th fret, and we got 11th thou under the high E. You know, in a perfect world, I'd like to see a little less under the high E than under the low E, but this will work. So I'd like to see 5x5. That's kind of a compromise. I'd really like to see 6x4, but they're both the same. So if I'm going to see 5x5, I'm going to have to remove 6/1000ths from the neck. And first thing I do is, because it's got the old little safety tuners where the string goes down into a hole in the tuner, and if you loosen these, they fall off and go all over the place. So I just stick toothpicks in there to hold the strings in place when I loosen the strings. And I'm going to loosen the strings and take the neck off. Now we have the neck off, and put it in any convenient position and measure right down the middle of the neck. And I'm getting 7.5 thousandths. So I want to take 6 out. That should leave me 1.5 thousandths. So grab your screwdriver and tighten up the truss rod. And no need to guess. Just take 6 out. Truss rod's a little tight, but that's okay. I think there's plenty of adjustment left. I took a couple of thou out, but I want to take more out. Looking for 1.5. Down to 4. Right, but when you finally get it right, we will have taken 6 thou out, and when I put the neck back on, completely unremarkably, that same 6 thou will be out from the original 11. Now I'm reading 1.5. Okay, I'm going to put the neck back on and tighten up the strings, and we'll see where we're at. With a big change like this, the action's going to get lowered. That's going to change the angle of the pull of the strings, which may actually affect the truss rod adjustment. But when I put the action back to where I want it, I'll have the correct truss rod adjustment. Alright, I got it strung back up to pitch, and readjusted the action to where it was when I started. And which is important. As I mentioned, the angle of the string pull can affect the truss rod adjustment. And now we're back to 5 thousandths by 5 thousandths, which is as close to perfect as this neck will get without adjusting the relief by leveling the frets, which is possible, but for the purposes of this setup, not necessary. So when you want to take 6 thousandths out, or whatever number you want to put in or take out from the relief, all you need to do is take the neck off, measure the neck in one position, adjust the truss rod, measure it again in the same position to make sure you've made the correct number of thousandths of adjustment, and when you string it back up, magically that same number of thousandths will be added or subtracted to the original, and you'll have exactly what you want every time, one shot. No need to guess and string it up and check and take it off and do it again. And some people say you need to do this 2, 3, 4, 5 times to get it right. No, do it once, measure. Hope that made your life easier, and don't forget about the toothpicks in the safety tuners. Just saves a little trouble. Hope this video made your work a little easier. See you on the next YouTube.